everything new. We live new. A brighter path is calling me and you. Week by week, we grow inside with wisdom as our daily guide. A renewed mind, a journey we will see to become the best of who we're meant to be.
Hi, welcome to the Renewed Mind Podcast, a space where clarity meets purpose and every thought becomes a step toward a better life. I'm your host, and my name is Tokunbo Akomu, and I'm glad you're here. Each episode is designed to help you pause, reflect, and realign your thinking with the values that really matter. Through simple, meaningful insights, we explore how a renewed mindset can shape the way you live, respond, and grow. So take a moment to settle in. Let's dive into today's conversation. I want you to imagine you are carrying a heavy, jagged stone in your pocket. Every step you take, it bruises your thigh. Every time you sit down, it digs into your skin. It's heavy, it's painful, and it's exhausting. Now imagine that the person who gave you that stone, the person who hurt you, is miles away, living their life, perhaps not even thinking about you. So the question is, why are you still carrying that stone? Is your past holding your future hostage? Are you waiting for an apology that may never come before you allow yourself to be happy? We often think that by holding on to anger, we are punishing the person who hurt us. But in reality, we are just drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Today, we are diving into a word that is often misunderstood, often resisted, but absolutely essential for a renewed mind. The word is forgiveness. And the question is, who are you keeping in the prison of your heart, only to realize you are the one sitting in the cell with them? Just think about it. Forgiveness literally means to give up or to leave. When you forgive, you aren't saying that what happened was okay. You aren't saying it didn't hurt. You are simply saying, I am canceling the debt you owe me. I am no longer going to wait for you to pay me back with an apology, a change in behavior, or suffering of your own. Do you get that? I'm no longer waiting for you to pay me back with an apology or a change in behavior or suffering of your own. So listen to this. Forgiveness is a mental and emotional release. It is the decision to stop letting a past event dictate your present pace. It is not a feeling. It is a calculated choice to stop the bleeding. Did you get that? And I know that we have some misconception about forgiveness and forgetting, but listen to this. Many people refuse to forgive because they confuse it with other concepts. Let's draw the lines. Forgiveness and forgetting. Listen, forgiving is not forgetting. In fact, forgetting can be dangerous. Forgiveness is letting go of the poison of the memory. Wisdom is keeping the lesson of the memory. Listen to this. You don't have to have amnesia to have peace. Now, there's forgiveness and reconciliation. This is the big one. Forgiveness is one way. It happens in your heart. Reconciliation is two-way. It requires trust and change from the other person. You can forgive someone and still decide never to grab a coffee with them again. There's also forgiveness and approval. Forgiving someone is not an endorsement of their sin. It is simply a refusal to let their sin define your life. You cannot let whatever they've done to decide your life. So what are the steps to forgiveness? The first one is acknowledge the wound. Don't suppress it. Admit it. You can't heal what you don't feel. Did you hear that? You can't heal what you don't feel. The next one is separate the person from the act. Understand that hurting people hurt people. This doesn't excuse them, but it explains them. Did you get that? The next step is make the decision. Don't wait for the feeling of forgiveness. Decide today to release them mentally. And the next one is set your wisdom boundaries. Decide what role, if any, that person will have in your life moving forward. And if there's no role for them, let them go. The next step is bless and release. Mentally wish them the growth they clearly need. Then turn your back on the event and work toward your purpose. Did you get that? So those are the practical steps you can take, and it will help you. Now, let me give you a practical illustration of the two prisoners. There's a famous story about two former prisoners of war who met years after their release. The first one asked, "Have you forgiven your captors yet?" The second one replied, "No, never. I still hate them with everything I have." The first prisoner looked at him with sadness and said, "Then they still have you in prison, don't they?" You see, the walls of the prison were gone. The guards were gone. The barbed wire was gone. But because the second man refused to forgive, he was still waking up every day in that cell. He was still eating prison food. He was still living under their shadow. You need to learn this. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks the door from the inside. It doesn't let the guard out of the trouble. It lets the prisoner back into the sunlight. Did you hear that? So you need to let go. You need to let go. That is forgiveness. And you know what? To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. Yes. Yes, that the prisoner was you. Forgiveness is not an occasional act. It is a constant attitude. It is something you have to constantly do. Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been any different. Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been any different. And I want you to, today, make up your mind that you're going to forgive, you're going to let go, but you're not going to forget the lessons of what has happened. As we close, I want you to take a deep breath. Who is that person? Whose name makes your chest tighten? Whose memory makes your blood boil? Today, I am challenging you to a mental and emotional release. You don't need to call them. You don't need to send a text. In the silence of your own mind, I want you to say, "I release you. I am no longer waiting for you to fix what you broke. I am taking responsibility for my own healing." Forgiveness isn't for them. It is for you. Hear this. It is for you. It is the highest form of self-care. It is the ultimate act of a renewed mind. Let go of the jagged stone. Your hands were meant for better things. Yes, your hands were meant to do better things. Release the depths. Reclaim your peace. Then renew your mind. Exactly. That is what you need to do. Even this week, that is what you need to do. With your boss, with your friends, that is what you need to do. Thank you for spending this time with me on the Renewed Mind podcast. I hope today's episode gave you something meaningful to carry into your week. Remember, renewal starts in the mind, with the thoughts you choose and the perspective you embrace. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to follow the podcast and share it with somebody who needs it too. And as we close, I want you to say this with me: that my mind is renewed, my steps are aligned, my life is changing, and I become better. Until we see you again next time, remember, it's about thanking Him and living Him. Thank you, and have a good week.
Start your Monday with a rising flame, a clearer vision, a higher aim. On every platform, hear the call to stand up stronger after every fall. Renewed mind, we think new, we live new, together finding all that's true. A year of growth, a steady climb.